I'm Nicole.
And I'm Jinha, and we are your hosts for this episode.
We'll be delving into cross-industry insights when it comes to pivoting into product management and its future.
We have also invited two very special guests today who are product management interns in various industries.
Whether you're a student or a professional looking to transition into product management, we've got you covered.
Turning into
Lorong
product.
Let's meet our first guest, Anna, who is a product intern at TikTok.
Hey guys, I'm Arnav. I'm a year 4 business analytics student and I'm interning in TikTok as a product intern. So,
Oh, damn! TikTok. Yeah, so
yeah,
go on.
it's a good experience, I would say. So I'm basically part of the APAC team, so Asia Pacific, and then the products under me are TikTok ads. So actually TikTok has more than 10 different TikTok ad solutions. Obviously each ad is catered to a different type of user persona. You know, we have big companies like Shopee and Grab. We also have startups, so it depends, which ad will basically suit them most. So yeah, it's more about product-led growth, how we can increase the growth of these products in Asia Pacific.
So you are why I keep spending money on TikTok, right?
Not me, but yes,
Okay.
that's true. That's the main revenue stream, so yeah.
Okay, that's really nice.
Is TikTok like a very different environment compared to your previous interns maybe?
Yeah, so my previous interns were all startups, so it's like my first, I would say, MNC. So I would say it's different, it's good and bad in both sense, but I would say the mentorship is very good. So all my mentors have come from very established companies in Singapore, even overseas. So I think you do see a difference. But again, if you intern in a startup, I think you have more first-hand experience, which you can't get in TikTok. Yeah.
That's great. Here we also have Chising, who is a product management intern at Tribe.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm Chisin. I'm a year 4 engineering student and I'm currently interning at Tribe as a PM intern.
Ooh.
What does Tribe do?
Yeah, so Tribe is actually in the blockchain technology space. So as opposed to TikTok, it's a mid-stage startup. Yeah, so I guess my experience could be quite opposite because I actually intern at more corporate in MNCs and also banks. Yeah, so this is a lot more exciting, I would say, because I get to learn a lot of things from scratch, and especially I'm managing a brand new product. Yeah.
Is this your first PM internship?
Yeah, I would say so because previously the most I did was product analyst. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not really a PM role, I would say.
How do you like the culture at Tribe?
Oh, it's really, really chill.
Really
yeah,
chill?
because I'm managing this new product, right? So I would say it's project based. So it's chill because it's task based and it's flexible, but you are responsible for everything that is related to this product. So I would say for an internship, it's really fun. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite cool. You all have very different kind of experience because of the company. Actually, did you all meet each other before?
Yeah, actually, we actually did. Yeah, we actually met in
Sweden,
Stockholm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in NOC and she was on ICP, so we traveled a lot for 6 months, and yeah, it was a good experience, I would say.
Yeah.
What was a memorable place that you all traveled to?
Spain and Portugal, I think, because it was during World Cup.
Yes,
Right.
it was like a road trip, so I think it was fun.
Yeah, and we got to watch Ronaldo play in Portugal. Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
He's not the best player, but yeah, he's not bad.
Anna, you were doing more data, machine learning kind of internship roles previously, right? Maybe what made you decide to pivot into product management roles?
Yeah, so data science is quite fun, obviously. It's very relevant to today's AI trends we see. But I feel that there was not much of ownership in terms of, because we are only given projects and we get the end result, but you don't really see how it impacts the business. But in product-related roles, you have ownership of the product, and you also can see how this product will actually affect the business on a larger scale. So I think I was more interested in a middle space between tech and business, and I think PM is literally the best space to be in now for this kind of roles. And I think also my NOC experience was 1 year long, so I was actually doing product development there. So I was doing more of backend and data science, more of tech, but you were basically building a new product from scratch, and that was under me. So the whole ideation process of how do you build an MVP, then you talk to engineers on doing all the sprint planning and stuff, and also talking to the stakeholders. So I think I was part of the whole pipeline. So I think that made me realize that this is something I'm interested in, and a PM would obviously try to go through all of this. He'll do the product roadmap planning and so on. So I think slowly I was keen on product management. I started reading some books and just some YouTube channels and stuff, and slowly when TikTok was there, I tried, and I think so far the experience has been quite good. So I'm trying to explore more in my full-time grad roles for this kind of roles.
So you like the hands-on kind of thing, you can really take care of your product yourself.
Correct,
That
yeah.
kind of idea. So have you been doing that at TikTok? Or is it
So TikTok is not really a PM role, it's more of a product intern is like product analyst plus product management. So it's like a mix of both because we do a lot of data analytics and stuff. We look at revenue trends and then we make decisions. So we don't really have a say on how would we change a feature, but we do have a say on like some suggestions we could give to the actual PMs. So I think that that's like a stepping stone towards PM. And I think it'll also probably help me secure like a grad PM role if I'm trying for that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
I see. Do you think like the product management role like varies and like companies to companies, like the stuff you cover?
Yeah.
Like maybe in like some places you need a bit more of like user interface like experience. Maybe some places you need a bit more tech experience.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, firstly, it depends on what's the position of the company. So like startups versus MNCs, that's one point of differentiation. Although some companies have things like tech PM, some is a business PM, some is like a normal PM. So I think it depends a lot on the industry and stuff. So I think for a PM, I wouldn't say you have to be from a tech background, but if it's a tech company, then obviously that kind does help in that sense. So it depends the context, what's the position of the company and what industry it belongs to.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there any like specific industry you are leaning towards? Like you like building products in that industry?
I was very interested in fintech early on.
Okay.
So I'm still interested in, but like given in Singapore, I don't think so there's many grad positions for PM in fintech. But there's something I like to read about and to keep up with.
Talking about building products, I heard you built your own application and that kind of like led you to try out like PM roles. Maybe you want to share about that?
Yeah. So actually, it started in hackathon actually. So I participated with two of my engineering friends. So they are from School of Computing. So obviously, like they were doing the actual development work lah. Yeah. So I later found out that because my role was like the UI UX designer kind of role. I was the only designer there, but they are kind of quite specialized in front end as well. So we kind of, our skills quite complementary lah. So from there, I also realized I was kind of like the business person per se. So trying to like define what is the problem statement that we want to like solve, when we present and pitch to the judges. And also like, of course, like say what are the business models that we could try, and also like what are the metrics that we can try to measure and this kind of thing. So then I realized that, oh, this is actually like a PM role. Okay, and then I learned about, I knew about what a PM does, but I haven't really like tried it until like I guess this project. Yeah, so even after the hackathon, we went on like and built this app, this platform, because we thought that if we get this work, it's a cool thing and it's an awesome thing that people would use. If not, it's a good learning opportunity. Yeah, so that kind of got me really into PM, and because of this, I think it kind of like I find that the PM role fits my personality as well, and also what I'm good at, like my strengths. Yeah, so I was quite determined to get like a PM internship after that. Yeah, so because of this project, I could tell a very good story. Like, of course, I did my homework. Like, I went to revise and reflected on like what I could done better. Like what are the better like strategies we could do. Like to do better for this project and things like that. So I guess that was quite of one of the good like stepping stone for me to land a product internship in the end.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just to backtrack a bit, right? You said that, it fits your personality. I was just wondering, for PMs, do you think like females are more suited to the role than males?
Oh, I definitely don't think it's about like the gender itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I think perhaps firstly I'm a very people person.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like to have like a collaborative nature kind of like work environment. And also like I would say like that's like my personality, but I'm also good at I think I'm good at like I think I'm good at like both thinking technically and also like communicating in a very like like collaborative manner lah. Yeah, so that's kind of like what Anna say also, like the middle ground between like the technical side and the business side.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think it kind of fits me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anna, what do you think are like some key traits of a PM?
Yeah, so I think number one is problem solving. So I know it sounds vague, but I'll give you an example. So if say you're going for a PM interview, and example someone asks you like, how would you improve maybe the Google homepage? So a lot of candidates will straight away go into, okay, I want to add this feature. But then what you must do is you must first understand what the problem is. So what is the user pain point? So you must start with that. What is the user pain point? What is the business objective? That means that if you improve this functionality, will it actually reach Google's objective, that is like maybe allowing better search functionality and so on. So I think problem solving basically means that you understand the problem before diving into making changes into the product. So I think that's something that all PMs will eventually get better at, and I think that's one of the key fundamental qualities that a PM should have. The other one probably I would say is more of industry knowledge. So if say you're applying to maybe say like Shopee or Lazada, it's e-commerce, right? So you must understand the latest trends in e-commerce. You must understand what is the business model of these companies. So I think if you understand that, it comes from reading and stuff. So that is one of the skills I would say is essential for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all? I mean, I could continue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, maybe I could add on one point. I think like the ability to make very good decision and be very firm, it's not everyone can have, because many people, they could be quite soft even though they are good at say like the more like deep work, that those we call deep work. Yeah, but I think like PM is someone who is the one always making decision. You are the one who people go to when they have any questions about a product, and then they will just ask you, and you always need to have a like an answer for that. So you have to be very firm and like very strong when you are like giving a call or making a decision.
Thank you guys for sharing so much about your own experiences, and also like maybe what skills like product managers should have. So kind of like leading on to that, we want to answer like the questions that like a lot of people want to know, which is like how to secure like a product management internship or like a product internship. So like maybe for did y'all like apply for like a lot of different roles before y'all landed like your respective like interns?
You wanna go first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I guess it can be split into two parts, right? So the resume round, and also after you get past that round, then you get to the interview round. So maybe I can talk a bit on the resume round first. Yeah, so I guess for the resume round, you need to kind of show that you are a product person. You need to let people know that you are someone who knows about product, even though you don't have say any product experiences. So it could be from any adjacent roles that you have. So for example, like I said, I had product analyst role. So I will have to try to explain a bit what I did or what I achieved in a more like a product way. I think that's what I did lah, at least. Yeah, so for example, I want to say like I with some of the product metrics that I helped to analyze, and in the end the product got some kind of improvement, for example. Yeah, so I guess that's for the resume part. And then if you get past to the interview part, of course, I think the most important thing is to practice, because it's quite different from normal interview, I would say, because they will ask different kind of questions. If you are curious, there are a lot of online resources that you can find, and then there are different types of questions, and it's really important to practice, because if you know some of the product management framework, right, you kind of know how to structure your response, and then your response will sound a lot more like well organized, and you're someone who can showcase, I guess, your PM ability.
Yeah, so I mean, quite similar, but I can talk more about the frameworks. So I think very common is they'll give you case studies. So there's either product design, there's product improvement, or there's estimation and stuff. But there's one framework which I always use. It's called BUS. It's BUS. So B stands for business objective, U stands for users or user pain points, and S is solution. So I was talking about in my last scene that whenever they ask you about such product question, you don't straight away jump into the solution, right? You are like a product manager, so you must understand the user pain points. So that is when you must understand the business objective and what the user pain points, and then you can dive into the solution. So yeah, and for resume, yeah, that's right. So I came from data science background, right? So I don't really have a PM experience before joining this or before joining NOC. But if you can translate that, how does the data science solutions actually help the company in terms of product? Maybe like you increase the accuracy of a model, but how will this help improve the product's ability to be sold faster or something, some kind of product metric? Then I think it helps, because you have business acumen and you're also able to take the role of a PM, because you're not only looking in the tech side, but also how can you communicate this information to the sales team so they can sell the product better. So I think these are the key things I would say. And I would say read a lot of books. I have some books to recommend, which I forgot the name, but I'll get back to you. They'll put on the caption. But yes, I think the books are good, and just learn more about the industry you're applying to. Yeah, and obviously join NES Pro Club.
Yeah, sure.
And more specifically, PM 1101E, Introduction to Product Management.
Yeah, sorry, just building on that, right, Anna? So you said that, learn more about the industries and stuff. So let's say I'm applying for a role at Shopee, and I'm applying to maybe like OKX, right, which does like blockchain.
Right.
Do you think when I'm applying and like preparing for the interview, I'll have to read like in depth into like the industry?
Yeah, so firstly, read about the company, the products the company have, its competition, and also about the industry. So, for example, you're applying for Shopee, then I think a very common question is, like, what are the products of Shopee and how do they differentiate from its competitors? So, for that, you must know that what are the, like, TikTok Shop is coming up soon now, you have Lazada. So, what does they offer that Shopee doesn't offer and vice versa? So, I think I would say you don't need to read a lot, but it just helps you answer your product questions because you can relate to the industry trends. Okay, that brings in more flavor and also makes you stand out compared to others who will probably give a very generic answer to it. So it'll be good to read at least like maybe a few days before so you can relate your answers to what's going on in the industry. Yeah.
But for the interviewers, like on their side, like what kind of response do you think they are looking for? Something like very creative, something innovative, or something which like really like fixes the problem?
So this really depends on the interviewer and the company. I can't really generalize. Maybe Tristan can talk more about this later. But I would say that I mean, like I said, you must, as a PM, you must talk about the problem, right? Like what are the user pain points and stuff. So I think you don't need to be fancy. I also give very like honest and very simple answers. I just this is the pain point and this is my solution, and also talk about trade-offs. That means if you're taking solution A, what is the opportunity cost of not taking solution B? So that shows as a PM you're actually looking at many options, right? You're not looking at option and telling the engineers build this. So I think that shows that you actually more you have high EQ or something. You're able to think about it. Engineers also, and also the technical feasibility, right? If you know this is too hard to build, you probably wouldn't suggest. So I think there's many ways to answer this, but I would say just be simple, use the frameworks, but also try to relate this to what's happening in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably for an internship, they don't really expect you to know really a lot about the product. So most of the times, like for example, the cases that they give, they will kind of give you a lot of context and background, and what they look out for is mostly how you approach this question, and do you like think of what are the different I guess like pain points or like any things that is related to I guess the target audience, the problem, and when you come up with the solution, what is your thought process? So it's not really how much you know. Of course, if you know a lot about the domain, it definitely helps. But I guess something that is more important is perhaps your motivation in joining the industry or even joining the company. So they want to know, like, even if you are not from this industry or you haven't worked at such fintech product, why are you interested in working on a B2C fintech product, B2B fintech product? You have to know what is your motivation, what is the thing that drives you to like applying to this role. Yeah.
Do you think there are any like questions that a lot of like interviewers tend to ask?
What is the category that maybe we are referring to? Because there are a lot actually.
Yeah, like maybe like let's say when you prepare for like a like PM intern, right, in like all the different industries, is there like a question that they're likely to like ask you for, and like something that you can prep?
Give an introduction of yourself. I think this is the most like simple but hardest to answer and hardest to impress question.
That's true.
Yeah, so you have to, because it's the first question and it will kind of determine like the first impression within like the first, I guess, 30 seconds, right? So you have to tell a very good story of what you have experienced previously and how that leads you to PM and why are you, interested in applying this PM role. Yeah, so I think like self-introduction is a very, very important question if you ask me. So practice a lot on that.
Underrated but important.
Correct.
Sell yourself, guys. Sell yourself. Thank you guys so much for sharing about, the internship application process. So now, we want to hear about your current internship experience, right? So I'm so sorry, Chisin. Do you mind sharing about what you do on a day-to-day basis? And, what projects are you working on right now? And how has, everything been like for you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so like I said just now, I'm actually in charge of a brand new product. So I think it depends on your organization because I'm in a startup. So they're trying to roll out a few products lah. So I'm in charge of like one and every feature under that product. So it's a platform, and then I would say like the day-to-day tasks could be quite different because there are so many features that are going on like simultaneously, concurrently, right? Yeah, so I could be, for example, working on, like writing PRD, product requirement document for a feature, and then the next few hours I could be talking to a real user, get what is the feedback on how we could improve our product, and then the next day I could be looking at some of the qualitative, quantitative data to get some insights and see what are like some like features that we can come up with of course, like trying to identify if there's any like pain points, and then of course I could be like preparing for a sync with the engineers, with the designers, and with my boss. Okay, yeah. So I guess that's the day to day, but generally it depends on what are the features that I'm working on and what are the tasks that are being prioritized. Yeah, it's a long list, I would say. So it's really interesting for me so far.
That sounds really exciting, right? Do you think, as a product manager, when you talk to customers and you talk to engineers, do you feel like you face problems explaining what the customers tell you and you relating that problem or your solution to the engineers? Do you feel like it's very tough?
Yeah, there is definitely a gap for you to bridge. I mean, that's what your role is, right? Yeah. So a lot of times it helps when you document it properly. So after you, for example, talk to the real users, you have to kind of like use your own judgment to kind of shortlist what are the important insights and what does this in particular insight lead you to. Is this like for example, a change in a feature? Then when you kind of convince your engineer, it's a lot easier because you get to tell them like, okay, so this is the code from this user and this is a code from this user on this feature, and not just one of them talk about this problem. A few of them have feedback on this problem. So it's good that we proceed with like improvement on this feature, and we want to prioritize this. Yeah, so I guess document it nicely and put it nicely in numbers and words.
Do you think I could summarize that as like maybe like giving meaning to the features so that the engineers understand what they want to achieve in the end?
Yeah, giving the reason, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not the what, it's the why.
Okay.
Because the what is what they are building. We need to give them why they are building it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like kind of like conflict? Like maybe the engineers feel like, why are you asking like us to do this or something?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it happens like every day, I would say. Yeah, so there's a lot of give and take lah. Sometimes they are right, of course. You have to listen to them because we talk about cost and benefit also. So some of the things are not as feasible, and if this I guess problem is not such of such high frequency or is not of such high impact, then it's reasonable for them to not do it for now, and then we can deprioritize such things. So it's quite often it's just how you deconflict. Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much. So maybe we'll hear a bit from Arnav, right? You're working at TikTok. Do you think the myths about the working culture is true? And could you share a bit more about your day-to-day life in TikTok and what kind of projects you are working on right now? I know you mentioned a bit about like the TikTok ads, but were you working on that project throughout the span, or do you like do other stuff also?
Yeah, so firstly I'll answer the first question, which is the culture.
Yeah.
So I think it depends a lot on team to team, right? So I can't really generalize the culture for TikTok. But I would say the main thing is a mentor. So thankfully I have a very good mentor, and she always makes sure, for example, I leave on time and I'm never overloaded with work. So I think for that I'm quite grateful for that. But again, it depends on team to team. Some actually work very hard. So for instance, TikTok is known for their recommendation system. So I know their recommendation architecture team works a lot. But that's because that's the USP, right? That's a unique selling point. Yeah. So this I can't generalize, but I would say for me it's quite good. I would say I leave on time, and the projects I get also is something I like. So yeah. For my day-to-day, I would say, so yeah, since I explained, it's more like a product analyst plus a PM role. So I work with a lot of numbers. So basically we try to see revenue trends for all the different TikTok ad solutions. And we try to see where it is lagging in Asia Pacific. So for instance, one of the products I work with is called Top View. So Top View is the most premium product of TikTok. I mean, it's the first ad you see when you open TikTok, which means it is the most premium. And that means we are targeting very, premium kind of companies which are able to pay for it. So if say I see that this specific ad is not working well in Japan, then I need to investigate what's wrong. So I look at market trends. I try to investigate other metrics. So we have revenue, we also have things like CPC, which is cost per click, you have cost per impression, because these are the metrics you would like to tell the clients, right? So example, if your cost per impression is less, that means you're able to reach 1,000 people for a lesser cost. So that is like, something you can do. So we work with a lot of metrics. And then based on this, then we also try to investigate how can we make a difference in terms of have a product feature improvement. And we try to write documents and also suggest this to PM. So I think I would say it's a lot of data and numbers, but also that's why I keep on saying we must understand the pain point, because only if you understand the pain point can you actually work on improving the feature. So I would say it's a mix of all of this. And I also try to support other projects. Like I think my recent project was the shopping season. So you have like 11, 12, right? Yeah, so now we want Shopee and we want our company Shopback to be retained on TikTok ads. So we basically calculate all these metrics and we tell them, okay, this is our cost and stuff, and you've been doing quite well. Your reach is quite big. And so that's what we do. So there are a lot of like ad hoc projects, but mostly it's basically how we can grow TikTok ads in Asia Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah, you shared about like the shopping season and stuff, right? So they are like 11, 12,
Yeah.
they make this like every month now. Do you think it gets busier during like these dates? Or will you say like your workload is kind of same throughout the month?
I would say it does get busier, but since I'm looking at like TikTok ads as a whole, I don't really look at these specific projects, more like ad hoc. So I wouldn't say it's like my main responsibility, but obviously when 11 is coming, then we know we have to make our clients happier. So we have a lot of like more data crunching numbers and trying to make presentations and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, just another question about your job scope, right? Because Chisin's job scope is like a bit like, she bounces here, she bounces there, right?
Yeah.
She's everywhere because it's a startup, right? Would you say like working at TikTok, your job scope is much more in a way like structured and like you are doing the same stuff and you don't really like hop around everywhere?
I would say it's more structured. I wouldn't say it's the same project. We have different types of projects, but overall, I would say you don't experience that much variation in roles.
Okay.
So I would say that's why it's good to experience both a startup and an MNC for PM roles, or to be a product role also. And I think you'll be able to better understand which one you like and stuff. So again, there's pros and cons. But I would say, the projects are, it's not like it's not repetitive or something, so it's not really boring, but it's very structured. So I know what I'll be expecting for tomorrow, but for startups, because startups are also growing and stuff, you could be expecting something even more exciting. So yeah.
Yeah, so moving on, just to ask a bit more about the internship. Was it a credit-bearing internship or did you guys do school while juggling the internship? Yeah, maybe Arnav, you can start first.
Yeah, so mine was like a part-time internship. So I was interning last time and I was doing 4 days a week. And I used to come to school 2 times a week. So, there was like an overlap. But I was working from home 1 day. So I think you need to be transparent with the company. I told them I'm still a student and stuff. And I think it's more about finishing the projects rather than clocking the hours. So I used to like make sure the projects are finished, be it Friday night or sometimes maybe weekend. But again, that's because I choose to maybe do schoolwork over the weekdays. So it depends how flexible the company is. I think definitely students should try this because it is time management and it helps you as a PM if you're trying to be one. Yeah. So I think that's how I did. And I think it is challenging, but I think it is not that bad, especially if you have a good group, especially for like capstone, because I did my capstone last time. So a good group and stuff. So I think overall it's fine, but do make sure you check your schedule for school. It's not that time consuming, and also make sure you tell this to your company before you start on your first day. Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much, Anna, for sharing. Maybe Chisin, you can share a bit about your experience.
Yeah, so I was actually interning full time. Yeah, but because maybe it's a special case because I'm a final year student also. So I was doing my final year project. So it's kind of like a OT thing lah. Yeah, so it's really about how you kind of manage your time. There are some other modules that I take, but I would say that FYP was like the more, I guess, important module. And yeah, it carries a lot of MCs and things like that. So even though I was interning full time, I think the most important thing is how you kind of prioritize your tasks. So for example, like I have a bi-weekly meeting with my FYP mentor. I need to make sure that, before the meeting, I prioritize my FYP. Yeah, but of course, like, for my internship as well, if there is like, for example, a feature that was gonna be built, quite urgently, and then we need a lot of, say, like, comments on design, and then I was supposed to, go onto the Figma file and like just give some comments. Then I have to know when I should prioritize, urgent and important tasks, over like those are the most OT ones. Yeah, so it's really prioritization skill, which is one of the most important skills of a PM as well. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to leave our viewers with?
I would just say that this is a PM type of interview and stuff, but obviously just enjoy your school because we have last time left. So it's my last time now. I'm trying to join as many CCs as I can in school. And also don't stress out much about your product management interviews. Just read stuff and just be confident, and on the day I'm pretty sure you'll do well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of resources available now, and I think joining NUS Product Club is definitely one of the best options because there are so many mentors that you can meet. Not just you can learn from them, you can network and then expand your horizon and things like that. So just explore as many opportunities as you can while you are in school.
We have come to the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning to Lorong Product. We have
Anna,
Chisin,
Nicole,
and Jin Hao.
make sure to check out our socials at NUS Product Club on Instagram and also nusproductclub.com, our website.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
Of
See
Lorong
you.
Product.